Welcome to the Gag Is podcast with me, your host, Charlie Shantae, where I share the roller coaster of my life, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. After becoming a teen mom at 14 and a widow by the age of 21, it's a journey filled with tears and laughter, reminding you that even in the toughest moments, there's hope. The gag is, life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Gag Is podcast. I am your girl, Charlie Shantae. Thank you for coming back and kicking it with me for another week. I am so glad you are here. We got a good topic today. This one right here. This one is a doozy. We here, you know what I'm saying? We here, we family. And I think we need to talk about boundaries within our families. Because you know why? Because sometimes folk get a little beside themselves. And we gotta bring it back in. So today we're gonna talk about boundaries with your kids, because I am a mom. Boundaries with your kids and boundaries with your family. Because I think sometimes, we're just gonna jump right into it. We're just gonna jump into it. I think family, sometimes you try to give your family a pass because they are your family, right? And you try to give your kids a pass because they your kids. But just because of the relationship, does that make it okay to let people come in and disrespect your boundaries, disrespect you, disrespect your space? Not at frequent, not at all. So I want to start with my first topic, which is boundaries with the kids. Now, y'all know I've said previously that there's a 10-year age difference between my youngest and my oldest. So in turn, my parenting style is way, way different from when it was with the oldest compared to with the youngest. Like with the oldest, we kind of grew up together because I was a teen mom. I had him when I was 14. So we kind of grew up together, so I didn't know anything about boundaries. I knew how to spell it, but I ain't know what it was. A boundary, like in a parking spot boundary. Is that what you mean? So there was no clear cut definition of, well, to me, there was no clear cut definition of, what a boundary was. I didn't realize what a boundary was until later on, down the road. I found out what a boundary is. How do you establish it? Once you figure out what it is, how do you establish? Do you establish it in the beginning? Do you establish it in the middle? Do you establish it when things come up? Or how do you go about establishing it? My kids are my greatest gift ever. Greatest gift ever. But sometimes I want to ask God, what about me? When you looked at me, you said, "Ooh, let's look at Charlie. Let's look at her. She gonna be a boy mom. I think she can handle it. It's a little rough. It's a little tough. I think she can handle it. Homegirl got it. No, homegirl don't got it. Cause this is the ghetto. The ghetto. I think since I was a tomboy, I think this is my karma. But it's cool though, because I like my boys. I can be rough with them. I can be tough with them. So I kind of get it. I kind of get it a little bit. The big one, the little one. The little one, I say, my inside joke is, I think he has a sketchbook and he pull it out every day in his room. He'd be like, what can I mark off my list? What can I mark off my list today for my mama? This one ain't good. It got to be something real good, okay? Because, you know, of course I'm a boy mom and I walk into my son's room and it smells like the gas station bathroom in there. Mm. But boundaries with kids. So, like I said, there is a 10-year age difference between my oldest and my youngest. So, I don't parent them the same. So, like, by the time my oldest there was turning 10, then I had a new baby. And so, I've only gotten a chance to raise them together for roughly about 10 for about 10 years. So the first 10 years it was just my first child. The second 10 years it was both kids. And now I'm on the opposite side where it's just the little child and the big one comes home from time to time, but I'm not actively raising them together. So the boundaries are a little different. The big one does tell the little one all the time, hey man, I've been there. I done that. Just go ahead and listen because you ain't going to win. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is so sweet. Like he's giving his little brother the best advice ever. Oh my gosh. And sometimes I think he'd just be like, nah, that's how she treated you. She ain't gonna treat me that way. And then when I have to treat him that way, he be looking crazy. He be like, dang, I ain't think she'd ever treat me like this. Yes, sir. You're not you're not immune. I had to take it there with you, my boy. With Marco Polo, it's kind of weird because, like I said, we kind of grew up together. And so as I've gotten older, as he's gotten older, we we've kind of butt heads a little bit, and it's to no fault of our own. You know, we like I said, we grew up together, so I didn't establish the parent child relationship boundaries. I was just like, okay, this is how this is gonna go, and we just kind of flowed. You know, I was always in the parent role, but I feel like there was a cross between I'm the parent, but I also wanted to be his little friend. You know, our parents used to always say, I ain't one of your little friends. But in this instance, I wanted to be his little friend. So that in turn was a good thing, but it ended up being a bad thing too, because then when boundaries would be crossed, then I would have to set the expectation from parent to child. And then it was kind of like, dang, mom being mean, mom has to be mean. Mom has to set the ground rules down because Marco Polo ain't listening. And now that he's an adult, it gets a little bit more difficult because since he is an adult and he does live on his own, I have to impose like adult boundaries, like if that makes sense. It's kind of like when you come to my house, this is my house. I have my rules in my house. What you do over there at where you stay, like that's totally your business. However, like our communication style is good, but we still have boundaries within our relationship. They're not the best solid, cemented and formed boundaries. However, we are still working to create those boundaries and not only making sure the boundary is there, but also making sure that the boundary is healthy. Because you can have boundaries, but if they're not healthy boundaries, I'm like, what good is it doing you? None. It's not doing you any good. So we're continuing to work to make sure that we're establishing healthy boundaries. Now, with New Face, I feel like every time I make a boundary with him, like he secretly goes behind me with an eraser and like erases every little piece of boundary because Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Like, this dude, like, sweetest kid, sweetest dude, smart, intelligent, very caring. But the boy throwed off. The boy is throwed off. I tell you, I think he in his room with a book every day. Like, what can I do to get up under mama's skin today? I mean, but I love my baby with all my heart, and I hate having to impose boundaries with him because he's so sweet and he doesn't mess up often. So when I have to put the foot down, it's like, dang, you know, the boundaries with him up for a long time, up until a few years ago, he slept in my bed. He slept in my bed. Now, this is not because of any fault of his own. This had to do because he has suffered from a great deal of medical problems, and in dealing with those medical problems, it has caused me at many times to have him co-sleep with me just so I can make sure he's okay. Or the nights that we spent at the hospital, we were kind of co-sleeping, or he was sleeping with me, or I was holding him. And so it became a little bit harder to set that you can't sleep with mommy anymore boundary. But like I said, no fault of his own and no fault of my own as well. And it just makes it a little bit harder sometimes. He is immunocompromised, so there still are days or nights that he will come and lay in here because he gets very, very sick. And I do have to keep an eye on him. Like last week, and when I tell you your girl ain't getting no sleep, I was like, oh my gosh, he rolled up in all the blanket. I was like, see, we not finna do this, my boy. We not fin to do this. But nonetheless, like I said in my previous episodes, this year I'm working on my relationship with my kids. So that's going to be setting healthy boundaries with them, setting healthy expectations with them. I feel as though as parents, we have to be okay having those hard conversations. It doesn't feel good, but they're conversations that we have to have now so that in the long run, we don't run into situations. Yes, every child and parent is going to have a disagreement, but the extent of the agreement doesn't have to be rough. It doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't have to be yelling and screaming. I want to foster relationships with my children where they can come and talk to me and we can sit down and we can have a rational conversation. We can talk things out without victim blaming, without pointing fingers, and without yelling and raising our voice at each other. We have to understand that two people are never going to agree. Two adults, two kids, no matter the relationship, you're not going to agree. However, the way you approach the situation and the outcomes and things that you set, the expectations that you set for the outcome can be affected greatly if you approach the situation the wrong way. I am very guilty of this. There are times where my children have tried to approach me and try to work through a problem with me. And instead of meeting them with an open mind, I have met them with, no, why would you do that? You're not thinking all the way. And kind of just blaming them for not knowing any better. But it's kind of like they know better, but they may not have known all the way better. They want that reassurance from you. I've gotten better about, instead of going on the defense, I sit back, I listen, and I understand what it is that they're telling me. Because when our kids come and talk to us, you think they always want something from you. And like I said, I'm guilty of this too. But sometimes they don't want anything at all. They don't need you to help them find a solution. They just want you to listen sometimes. And then they may be open to some feedback, whatever your opinion was. And if they need the help, they will ask for the help. I've had to learn with Marco Polo that instead of just offering my help, I need to find out if he needs my help. Because if I continue to volunteer my help, then eventually I'm going to get burned out. And then I'm going to be like, well, why are you not doing this for yourself? Well, I never gave him the opportunity to do it for himself. So how can he do something for himself when I never gave him the opportunity? Instead of trying to always salvage and be the fixer with my kids, I've had to learn to allow them to make very small mistakes so that they could learn from those mistakes. That's a boundary that I set with them, that I would allow them to make the simple mistakes so that they can learn and understand. And then we can sit down, we can talk about it, lay it all out, and see what went wrong. And if needed, how can we correct whatever went on? Now, this is the good part. We're going to talk about that family. We are family, right? Family, family, family. Why why do we get in the habit of saying that we got to be cool with our family? Like, why do we get in the habit of saying that? Like, what if the family members are toxic? What if they don't mean you any good? Like, if your family member is a serial killer, you telling me I got to be cool with the serial killer? If your family member is somebody who's always out of control, always stay in trouble and things like that, and that's not how you align, are you telling me that I have to still be cool with that person because they're my family member? Absolutely not. Like, let's normalize like being away from toxic people, having peace in your life. Like, I cut you off quick. I don't care who you are. I will cut you off quickly. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. I'm finna cut you off. Gonna cut you off. Um, how comfortable, y'all? It is a whole mosquito right here. I apologize, but he was trying to get me. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I know y'all like, what is she doing? My apologies. It's a mosquito. Listen, I ain't trying to. In Florida, we have mosquitoes year round. Okay, they don't show no mercy. They don't get cold. It's cold here. They don't get cold. Let's bring it back. How comfortable are you with asking family members for favors? Like, especially if it's a family member that you don't talk to all the time. Like you just okay going, hey Charlie, I know we ain't spoken XYZ amount of time, but do you think I can borrow? Can you do what? Like, how you doing? Like, how you been? How your kids? How your family? Like, you just go to straight, hey, how you doing? Can I borrow? Like, like how you start the conversation off begging, like, like I when I travel back home, I try to visit family. Um, I have certain family members that I will go visit because I know that they're gonna make time for me. I always tell people when I'm coming, I give you good time notice. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be here on this day. I'm gonna be here for this amount of time. Let me know if you're free, if we just want to hang out real quick, grab some lunch, or do something like that. I don't just pop up on people. Like, I don't like people to pop up on me, so I don't pop up on people. Like I said, there's only certain family members that I go see because, like, I feel like the rest of y'all, I'm not about to break my leg to come see you. Like, you, who you think you are. I'm not finna just, no. Mm-mm. I'm not finna do that. If I tell you I'm coming into town and if you busy, you busy. If you don't want to hang out, tell me you don't want to hang out. It, you ain't finna hurt my feelings. Like at all. You not finna hurt my feelings if you tell me you don't want to hang out with me. Then guess what? That's all I mean. I got extra time to go do something. That's all that mean. Like you not gonna hurt my feelings, Charlie. I don't want to hang out with you. Cool. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna catch you on the next go round. I purposely don't post when I come home on social media because people be like, "Oh, make sure you hit me up when you get here." Um, so we can link up, and then I tell people I'm there, and they act like they got a broke phone, like their phone don't work, like they don't see messages and stuff like that. So I quit asking, like I quit saying when I'm gonna go home. You know what I'm saying? Because I make time. I'm setting aside time to, for hanging out and this stuff like this, only for you to stick me, and I could have been doing something else. So now when I go home, like I have a rhyme, a reason, and a purpose that I'm going. I typically don't stay for more than 2 days because what I need to do or who I need to see, I can normally get that done in 2 days. I may stay three, just depending on what I got going on. But I don't stay an extended period of time just to make sure I catch everybody. If I catch you this go round, then okay, good. If I didn't because I ran out of time, guess what? I catch you on the next go round. Like it's not that serious because it's just like if you was to come to where I live, same thing. I don't got time or I catch up with you on the next go round. We busy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like just keep it 100 with me. If you don't want to hang or whatever, it it is what it is. So let me tell y'all a story. When I tell y'all I had the wildest stories, listen, y'all, this mosquito's gonna drive me crazy. It's gonna hopefully he don't try to come to my face and then y'all see me slap my face. Like that would be tragic. So after my husband passed away, um I had a family member hit me up and ask me could I help them co-sign on a car. I hadn't talked to this family member in I don't know how long. And just out the blue was like, sorry about your husband. Can you help me co-sign on a car? On a brand new car that I don't need at the time I wasn't even driving a brand new car. And you want me to help you co-sign on another car. If you need a co-signer, then it sounds like you don't need the car at all. Cause you wanted me to co-sign and potentially put a down payment on the car. Like seriously, like that's how. Listen, listen. And still to this day, me and that family member not that cool, and it don't bother me at all. It don't bother me not one bit. Cause you didn't show me who you was, and when somebody show you who they are, you believe them. You absolutely believe them. So, to wrap all of this up, you know, make sure when you're setting boundaries with your kids, make sure you're setting healthy boundaries with them, because they got little feelings too. And make sure when you setting the boundaries, make sure that you're setting realistic boundaries. Make sure you're setting boundaries that your child understands because that your child may be younger, they may be older, but make sure that they understand the boundary that is being set so that in going forward they understand what the expectation is. There's no question about if they should be doing this or if they should be doing that. from time to time, you may have to go back and readjust or kind of alter the boundaries, because no boundary should stay the same. Boundaries is just, in my opinion, are just like a benchmark. And so we're going to have the boundary, and if we need to, we can go back and we can revisit the boundary and see if there's some things that we need to alter, some things that we need to change. All right. Now, my favorite, well, one of my favorite portions of the show is You Can't Make This Up. And since we're talking about boundaries, and since we're talking about boundaries with kids and family, I had to pick something that was very relatable. Okay. It's like, families. Let's see, how many of us have them? Oh, no, that's Friends. I done sung the wrong song. So, family, So, a relative of the T Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, has been found. Well, well. So, people was digging, archaeologists were out digging in New Mexico, and they stumbled upon some bones. And they was like, oh, what do we have here? And the bones were thought to be that of a T Rex. And it said that this creature was here 7 million years before T Rex was even thought of. So these bones that they found of this new dinosaur, this is kind of like the ancestors in real life. They was 7 million years prior. And they said the bones is about 72 to 73 million years old. That is a long time. Long time. And so, they looked at these bones and they were like, it's not quite the T-Rex, but it could be in the same family of it. The jaw is bigger. This thing had bigger teeth. And it just roamed so much more freer, so much more better. It was way bigger than what the T-Rex was. And I'm like, dang. So they were like, is it a close relative? Is it a cousin? So it sounds to me like this was a like distant cousin, like like you got your aunties and you got your cousins and stuff, and then you got them cousins that you like hear about, but you ain't never met them, or you ain't never talked to them or whatever. You might have heard their name once or twice on the phone or something, but that's about it. Like, that's what this dinosaur is, and I don't want to mess up the dinosaur name. Y'all, if y'all watching this on YouTube, please forgive me, but this mosquito trying to take me out. I don't want to mess up the T-Rex's name. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to mess up the T-Rex's name, because, he got like a real name. It's not like Pookie or anything like that. But in case y'all need like a good laugh, it's a Tyrannosaurus McRaney McRaeensis. McRaeensis. Listen, T-Rex cousin. That's his people. That's his cousin them. Okay. That's how about we just leave it at that? Because I can't say that dinosaur name. I know Tyrannosaurus. I can't say that brother last name. He got one of them last names. I don't know. It could be Creole or something. I don't know. He got a last name I can't pronounce. I just know Tyrannosaurus. Sid. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? All right. And before we get up out of here, I want to give you the song of the week. And like I said, keeping with the trend of family and boundaries with the families, the song that I decided to pick for this week is We Are Family by Sister Sledge. All right, y'all. So that is all that I have for y'all this week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I am your girl, Charlie Shantae, and I will see y'all again next week. Peace.